Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Do you ever find yourself sometimes in one of those situations where you feel like you're not as close to Jesus as you want to be? Well, hopefully, although those occasions are rare, hopefully you realize and the comfort we find in knowing that it wasn't Him who left us. No, in every one of those situations, it's always us that drifted away from Jesus. And usually we didn't run away from Him, but it's something that happens over time. So in meditating about those situations, let's think about how urgent it is, how important it is to get back to Him as quickly as possible. We might have gone away slowly, but let's get back really quickly. You know, there's some scriptures that talk about people that are searching for Jesus. One of the first ones we think of are the wise men. You know, these three men came from countries far away on camelback or horseback, searching for Jesus. They probably had sleepless nights. I'm sure they had some very uncomfortable nights, but they diligently did it until they found Him. They asked people questions, they asked for directions, and they didn't give up until they got there. There's the story of the woman who had been hemorrhaging for many years, and how her search led her through thick crowds of people until she finally was able, all she wanted to do was touch the hem of His garment. She probably could have gotten in trouble for doing that, but she did whatever it took to get closer to Jesus. We know the story of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was a crook. He was the head of the tax collectors, so he stole from the thieves who stole from the people. Yet, he wanted to get closer to Jesus, so he climbed up a sycamore tree because he was a short guy. But even though he knew people might see him up there, he might get caught doing it, he didn't care what people had to say. He wanted to see Jesus. Probably the most famous story of all that, other than all of those stories where we see crowds of people who left what they were doing, who left things behind and diligently searched for Jesus. And sometimes He had crowds out in the middle of nowhere, and they left home and food and everything just to be with Him. But the most famous of all those stories probably is the story of His own parents searching for Him. You remember He was 12 years old. He stayed in the temple while they went back to Jerusalem. Again, they wandered off from Him. And when they realized He wasn't in their party, they panicked. They turned around and went searching for Him just like any of us would. And although it was 3 days before they found Him, we can't even probably try to imagine the fear and the anxiety and the guilt and the worry that they were experiencing in those 3 days. Probably seemed like a lifetime to them. And they too were probably asking people, have you seen Jesus? They probably went without food or sleep for those 3 days until they finally found Him. And we know the joy that in every one of these occasions, the wise men, the woman who was suffering from the hemorrhages, Zacchaeus, the people in the crowds, we know the joy they all felt once they finally found Him. So if you feel like you're not as close to Jesus as you want to be, I'm going to say be diligent. I'm going to say be very passionate and persistent and do whatever it takes right now to get close to Him again. Do whatever it takes. Take whatever risk it has to make that journey back to Jesus. And remember, it's urgent. Remember to make it quicker going back than you did when you left. And what we're going to find out, He welcomes us with open arms, and He never went anywhere. He was with us all along because He lives within us. But when we make that journey back and we start to get closer to Him again, our relationship continues to grow, and we too find the joy that those others in the gospel readings and in the Bible readings found. And our lives become richer. Our lives become fuller as we find a close relationship to Jesus. So I hope that inspires you a little bit. I hope you like it. Don't forget to search for us and go to our website. And on our website, if you have some ways where maybe you wandered away from Jesus and you've come back and you want to share them with us, we'd love to hear about them. We also love it when you give us your prayer requests. We are blessed when we get to pray for you. So don't forget to send those to us if you like. Also find us on social media so you can stay in touch with us. So remember, until next time, keep smiling. Look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.